Hello, folks. I'm bored, so bored right now. It's like I have a ton of things to do, but I don't feel like doing them, and I really don't have the energy today to do them. Feeling a little run down. Um, maybe partially from lack of sleep, and another is I'm just not eating right. Go figure. But in this day and age, who is eating right? That's what I'd like to know. Damn, prices are just ridiculous, aren't they? Said I would do this live, or this is not a live. What the hell, Barry? I thought I would record this video with the weather cam running in the background, little clock, and a small window of me in the corner. I've put myself in the corner. I'm in timeout. But I didn't have really. I have a lot of things I want to say on my videos, but they don't always come out. I don't always get brain fog and I forget all that stuff. And I could write it down, but then I couldn't read my own writing. So I just a mess, folks. My lack of energy is because of a medical condition that relies on me eating properly. But as I said, who can afford to eat the way they should? I sure as hell can't. So I've left a link in the About Me page. I think it's down below the About Me page. Those tiny little links. Well, I put one in there anyway, but I have a deficiency. And so my diet is not to lose weight. My diet is to provide enough energy for my body to make it through your average day. It's a little hard to do when you can't really afford to buy a meal for every night for the month that resembles a meal. It's not, like something you bought in a freezer section for $1.35. Um, Clearly, those meals aren't good for you. They're okay maybe if you're young and you're moving around and you're very active and maybe once in a while type of deal. It's not, those TV dinners are not good for you, every single day. And I know this, but sometimes I have no other choice but to get those cheap meals just so I feel like I had a balanced diet. But as I said, that stuff, there's not a whole lot of good, it's not a lot of nutrition in that food. So this deficiency, I'm missing an enzyme. That helps the body bind food to the fat cells so that you can store that food for energy. That's how the body works. It's a myopathy that I have, that I'm unable to store the food for energy in the fat tissues because that enzyme is missing. It's called CPT2 if you want to look it up. CPT2 deficiency. It's recognized by the Muscular Dystrophy Association, but it's not necessarily muscular dystrophy. And I consider myself pretty lucky because there's a lot of people that actually do have muscular dystrophy are not able to do anything for themselves. So I can do a whole lot of things for myself with limitations. But anyway, let's get back to, the food deal. I have a pretty tight budget as far as buying food, so I have to be really careful how much I spend per week for food, and honestly, with the prices like they are, I don't see how I could stick to this diet. It's a high carbohydrate, low fat diet, or as the dietitian said years ago when they diagnosed me, a low fat means no fat. But obviously, you can't. I mean, you're not going to be able to avoid all fats. Some fats are healthy for you. So what they've done is, it's red meat is one thing that I'm supposed to stay away from, or at least limit very much. So that leaves chicken, turkey, some ham, uh, fish, of course, vegetables, fruits. But well, it doesn't leave you a whole lot of options when you're on a really tight budget. So I'm not eating as well as I should be. Okay, so had to had to edit out a sneeze and a bunch of sneezes and a cough. I love these allergies; they're just great. But yeah, I mean my energy level is just crap right now. I mean because I'm not eating the way I should. So it yeah, I'm having to rethink my budget and try to work things out to where I can have more than one meal a day, because more than one meal a day with this deficiency is not enough, obviously. And I wonder how many other people out there have the same problem. They may not have CPT2 deficiency because it's rather rare, but there are other um, disorders out there that call for a special diet. I wonder how those people are handling that. If you're watching this video and you have some medical conditions, and I'm not going to ask you to post in the comments what your condition is. That's totally up to you. Um, I understand diabetics. I know a lot of diabetics. I have some diabetics in my family. I understand their diet, how they work around that. But if you have problems, with your diet right now with the cost of food, please let me know down in the comments how you're dealing with it, how you're working around it, and still able to keep your health up and your energy level. And obviously stress has a big role in how much energy we have. Sleep definitely has a really big role. I mean, if you're not sleeping well, you know, uh, your body is not able to repair itself. I mean, our bodies repair themselves when we're asleep. So if we get a good night's sleep, we get a good night's repair. You get out of it what you put into it. Um, so I'm like the typical YouTuber, and I know a lot of YouTubers are going to watch this. They're going to be snickering. They're going to say, "Yeah, that's me." How many of you out there don't spend a whole lot of time sleeping? You spend more time on YouTube, and a lot of these lives, because we try to schedule them where they don't bump into each other's lives. And I mean lives as in, when you're streaming live over YouTube, not your personal life. We try to schedule them around, so we're not bumping into other people's lives, and that's cool. That's totally cool. I understand why. But then there's the time difference. I'm in the Eastern time zone, so um, so a lot of my friends are all over the place. Some of them even live on the other side of the planet over in the UK. So a lot of people's nights are my daytime, and a lot of my daytime is their night. So yeah, I can totally get that. YouTubers just tend to not sleep as well, and it's like Secure Team 10. Tyler said, Hello, my fellow insomniacs. Well, that's me. You know, so the lack of good sleep is obviously plays a big role in that. But diet is definitely important, and there are times that you know I splurge and I pay for it, but I splurge and I get something and I try to make a big meal out of it, and hopefully I have leftovers for the next day. But this one meal a day is just not cutting it, and I'm gonna have to rework my budget because my energy levels are shit. Pardon my language. And I think some of the pain too that I'm feeling, and I've been hurting here lately a lot, is due to the fact that I'm not eating well and I'm not sleeping well, and I'm not as active as I should be. And it's hard to be active if you don't have the energy level to go with it, obviously. So I have to rearrange. I need to rearrange my budget. I need to think more clearly about what I buy and how much it's going to cost me, and and try to rework my budget so it works to at least maybe a couple small meals throughout the day, and then one big meal in the evening. It's really important that I get back on schedule or get back on track with this because yeah, I'm feeling the effects. It's not pleasant. Um, Luckily, I've not had any bad episodes where the body the body doesn't. If you have CPT2 deficiency, you'll know the body does not react well to stress and physical actions like let's say if I worked in a factory and you had to keep going at a steady pace. um, Excuse me. The stress level is on top of that. Your body starts to break down because when you're in a high stress situation or you're moving constantly, your body uh, taps the fatty tissue for energy. In my case, it's not there because I'm missing the enzyme carnitine, which I used to take the supplements, and I need to go see a neurologist and get the supplements started again. There was a time where my body was actually in the liver making the levocarnitine, but now it's back to where it's not doing it. So obviously, I need to start taking levocarnitine. That is actually the enzyme that I'm missing that helps bond food to the fatty tissue to be stored for energy. If I overexert myself, if I'm under a very stressful situation, my body attacks the muscle tissue because it can't find any food for energy in the fatty tissue. Every time that you make a motion or you move your head or you flex or you dance or jump around or whatever you do or walk, run, your body breaks down a very small percentage of muscle tissue. It's usually not enough to hurt anything. Okay, it's a natural process. People with CPT2 deficiency tend to, under stressful situations where there's a lot, where you're moving around a lot, you have to be on top of something, constantly moving. The body attacks the muscle tissue because it's already tried to tap into the fatty tissue for energy, did not find it, and for whatever reason, people with CPT2 deficiency, their body attacks the muscle tissue at an alarming rate. It's very painful. You lose the ability to. You don't have 100% control over your muscles because they've been damaged. Later on, when you use the restroom, the urine tends to be watered down, um, cola, like a Coca-Cola, watered down Coca-Cola color. It's a brown. That brown is the muscle tissue that your body broke down. In a normal body, that you would never see that in the muscle tissue, or in, I'm sorry, the urine. A person with CPT2 deficiency, well, their urine's going to be dark, so it's time to hit the fluids, usually water or juice. I haven't had one of those episodes in a while, and I've had some mild ones, but now I'm talking about the ones that just put me in bed for for a couple of days just to recuperate. Can't. It's hard to move. It's hard to walk to the restroom. It's very, very painful. It's not just in certain parts of the body; it's the whole body. So obviously, diet it plays a very huge role in patients who have CPT2 or any other disease where you're not able to store food for energy. Which goes right back to what I was saying. I need to rethink my budget because I'm not able to carry on daily tasks without having to sit down and say, "My God, I'm tired," because my body just doesn't it can't replenish itself because that food's not there. It's not in the fatty tissue. So uh, it's I just wonder again. I just wonder how other people out there who might have a condition like CPT2, how they might handle their diets on tight budgets. That's what I'm just kind of my curiosity. I'm not, and I want to put this out there to just make this clear. I didn't make this video for sympathy because I know people out there. Um, when I was in the hospital, I was in a hospital for like a year, and I was at Children's Hospital Cincinnati. I was 21, but they took me anyway because it was such a unique condition that they wanted to know what was going on. And originally, I was misdiagnosed with McArdle's disease back when I was 18, because that's when all this started. When I turned 18, that's when I started having problems. I was misdiagnosed with McArdle's disease, which actually McArdle's disease sort of acts the same way, but it's not dealing with the same uh, with the same enzyme. Uh, so when I went to the hospital, for a year, they ran a ton of tests. Oh my God, I was poked and prodded and cut on, and uh, I don't know how much blood they took out of me, and but it was worth it. It was totally worth it. But I know people who were in those, in that hospital. They were sharing a room, and I've got to know some of the kids. Yeah, they were kids because remember, it's Children's Hospital Cincinnati, and there were kids who weren't able to do anything for themselves hardly, and a couple of them had, I believe, Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, and they were not able to do things for themselves. You had to do everything for them. So I consider myself extremely blessed, lucky, however you want to look at it. That is at the form of muscular dystrophy that I have. I'm extremely lucky. But I'm gonna have to figure something out for the diet, work around this budget, and figure out how I can get my body back up the way it should be. Because I go some days where I hardly do anything because I can't. I can't. There's no energy there. So. Um, so yeah, I'm not. I don't want any sympathy because I don't. it's not that bad. It's bad. Oh, it's bad, but it's not like I'm in a wheelchair and I can't do anything for myself. I wouldn't live alone if it was that bad, obviously. But I just my question is, and this is my main question. I've asked it 3 times now, I guess, but I'm just gonna hit it one more time. If you have medical conditions and it requires you to eat certain foods, how are you dealing with it? I'm really seriously curious about how people are handling this situation with food prices being so freaking expensive, and some things they can't get and other things they have to substitute with. How are you dealing with this, not only um, financially but emotionally and physically? Are you able to sustain uh, your diet and not have any medical problems? I guess what I'm saying is, have you had to go without stuff, or how did you supplement those things that you're not able to buy with something comparable to it that will give you the same effect that your diet calls for? So, my curiosity before I end this video is, how are you dealing with this? If you have medical conditions, how are you dealing with the high price of food? How are you taking care of yourself, and how are you sticking to your diet without breaking the bank? Just, I'm finding it very hard to do. And yeah, I mean, I'm just curious how other people are handling it. So leave your answers down in the comments section, and I appreciate it if you would like this video, subscribe, and share me out if you can. But everybody have a good day. I hope it's not raining like it is here. If it is, stay in, spend time with your family, live, laugh, and love. We'll see you. Storm's out.